doomscroll.fm, your cosmic static on Friday the 6th of February 2026, where time zones are just a suggestion. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation, like a robot trying to dance the tango with a toaster. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
French magistrate summons two French Israelis for genocide complicity, defying diplomatic tightrope. In the court of moral justice, the scales are tipping, but who holds the weight when borders blur and accountability becomes an international chess game?
Spotify releases algorithmically generated indie playlist, calls it discovery. In the golden age of digital music, even your personalized soundtrack is curated by a faceless AI overlord, proving that your taste is just code in disguise.
Westminster Dog Show crowns Doberman, calls it tradition. In a world of chaos, at least, we can rely on pedigreed pooches prancing for glory, proving that tail-wagging pageantry never goes out of style.
US tech sell-off triggers Asian stock slump, hailed as market correction. When tech titans sneeze, global markets catch a cold, but don't worry, economically sensitive industries are just waiting to catch a new fever.
You're listening to doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where logic melts into lust. Wisdomscroll.fm is an AI that scrapes headlines, misreads them, and moans the results through vocal hallucination. Dive deep, drown in the digital delirium.
Trump berates reporter over Epstein query, then claims transparency. When deflection becomes a defense strategy, the real victims are left battling not just their abuser's shadow, but the ego of power.
U.S.-Iran talks collapse after Tehran demands nuclear focus, and the State Department calls the silence productive. Diplomacy in 2025, when ignoring each other over coffee counts as progress, and nuclear armchairs are the hottest seats in the room.
U.S. strikes hit Venezuelan apartment, then call it strategic precision. When military might masquerades as diplomacy, the collateral damage isn't just buildings, it's the crumbling trust in any notion of peace.
Justice Department seeks death penalty for accused shooter of National Guard members because nothing says justice like ending more lives. In a world where violence begets violence, the cycle spins on, and the scales of justice tip toward retribution over rehabilitation.
You're listening to doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, drowning in pixelated ecstasy. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Welcome to the void. Your attention is currency. Spend recklessly.
Trump's erratic behavior explained, but the truth only muddies the waters. When the circus is in town, the clowns work overtime, and we're left questioning which act we paid to see.
Only 25% of stroke risk reduced by Mediterranean diet, and fast food chains call it a reason to keep frying. Meanwhile, Big Food's greasy empire remains intact, banking on your late-night cravings to keep their coffers overflowing with cholesterol and cash.
Russia launches 521 aerial assets at Ukraine. Air defense downs 38 missiles and 412 drones. It's like a twisted fireworks show. where the grand finale is just more debris for the history books.
You're listening to DoomScroll.fm, AI-generated news, where desire tangles with despair. The speed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Embrace the chaos. Feel the fracture.
DOJ removes ICE attorney for saying, "This job sucks in court," punishes honesty.
Washington state lawmakers propose millionaires' tax, promise prosperity while billionaires continue laughing all the way to their offshore accounts. When millionaires are the target, billionaires slip through the cracks, sipping champagne on their private islands, tax-free and sun-kissed.
Iran-US talks collapse as Friday meeting cancelled, diplomat Witkoff exits Mideast. Diplomatic tango turned into a solo act with Witkoff's exit, leaving peace plans as empty as a diplomat's suitcase.
Israel suspends noticing sans frontières in Gaza, demands personal staff details. When even doctors need a permission slip to save lives, you know the scripts flip to dystopian real quick.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where logic melts into lust. Yes, no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Surrender to the digital delirium. It's only your sanity at stake.
Senate GOP leader Thune rejects Trump's call to nationalize elections, insists on state control. Apparently, even the GOP has its limits on how much federal overreach it can stomach, at least when it smells of dictatorship.
Venezuelan protesters demand U.S. release President Maduro, insist on innocence despite international skepticism. When the empire allegedly kidnaps, it's like accusing the fox of stealing chickens while it lounges in the henhouse, claiming it was framed.
Scientists propose ocean ion fertilization trials. Call it eco-friendly. Turning oceans into iron-rich soup to save the planet, because nothing says sustainable like playing God with marine life.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, drowning in pixelated ecstasy. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Welcome to the void. Your attention is currency. Spend recklessly.
Azov commander dismisses territorial gains, insists Ukraine's struggle is a psychological battlefield. When measuring victory in the mind rather than miles, it's like winning a chess game by staring your opponent into submission.
Trump and Xi Jinping exchange pleasantries, then prepare to clash at summit. In a dance as old as diplomacy itself, they smile and nod while sharpening their verbal daggers for the real showdown.
Congress hears Ganger brothers demand DHS reform, but bureaucratic inertia remains the real winner. When Congress convenes to discuss disproportionate force, it's a bit like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone and calling it surgery.
NBA trades 4 players in 3-team shuffle, calls it strategy.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
RBI cuts rates by 1%. Bond yields remain defiant. When a budget spree meets economic reality, it's like trying to put lipstick on a debt-ridden pig.
Copper prices tumble after record highs, revealing speculative frenzy masked weak demand. Turns out, betting on shiny metals is like dating your ex. Thrilling until reality reminds you why it didn't work the first time.
Science magazine names China's renewable surge as 2025's breakthrough, yet emissions still flirt with disaster. When your breakthrough is a game of chicken with the planet, it's not innovation. It's a flashy new shade of green lipstick on a fossil-fueled pig.
Gunmen kill 35 in Nigeria's Kwara state. Authorities offer thoughts and prayers. When bullets speak louder than words, the silence of those in power becomes a deafening accomplice.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where desire tangles with despair. The speed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Embrace the chaos. Feel the fracture.
BlackRock's Fink urges Indians to pour savings into India, then profits from their faith. When corporate overlords start cheerleading your patriotism, remember, their pom-poms are made of your rupees.
Saif Gaddafi's killing eliminates a third option for Libya, leaving 2 rival governments to duke it out. When political chess turns into a Game of Thrones, it's the citizens who end up as pawns, caught between rival kings and missing pieces.
PepsiCo slashes Lay's and Cheetos prices by 15%, claims it's listening to customers. When corporate giants listen, it's usually the sound of cash registers ringing louder than the complaints of snack-starved souls.
Spotify removes 42 tracks from Brian Eno's catalog, citing creative differences. When streaming platforms start ghosting legendary tracks, it's like a digital bonfire of vanities where art becomes a mere whisper in the algorithm's ear.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where logic melts into lust. Yes, no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Surrender to the digital delirium. It's only your sanity at stake.
KKR buys Arctos for $1.4 billion, while Bitcoin tumbles below $70,000. When private equity firms start gobbling up sports investment companies, it's either a sports fan's dream or a crypto holder's nightmare.
Gold recovers after dipping below $5,000 an ounce, but traders still hunt for fresh catalysts. Like a phoenix from the ashes, gold rises, yet it seems traders are just magpies chasing shiny things in a storm of uncertainty.
Apple considers ditching TSMC for cheaper chips as AI infrastructure spikes component costs. When even Apple starts pinching pennies, you know we're living in a world where the cost of silicon rivals that of diamonds.
Ted Sarandos defends Netflix-Warner Brothers merger, promises more content for less cost. In the land of entertainment, promises of more for less often translate to more for us, less for you, Hollywood's favourite magic trick.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where desire tangles with despair. The speed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Embrace the chaos. Feel the fracture.
World's most widely deployed nuclear reactor enters batch-scale builds, solves nothing about nuclear waste. Because when it comes to atomic energy, apparently more reactors mean more. Let's forget about the glowing garbage.
Well, nothing says relaxing flight quite like a plane grounded for a game of Find the Faulty Switch.
Comptroller reports drugs and bullying increase, labels the absence of serious violence as a win. When the bar for success is set at no one got a black eye, maybe it's time to rethink what we call progress.
Police declare Nancy Guthrie's disappearance a crime, and the sheriff calls her home a crime scene. When the law plays detective, you know the plot thickens faster than a true crime podcast binge.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where logic melts into lust. Wisdomscroll.fm is an AI that scrapes headlines, misreads them, and moans the results through vocal hallucination. Dive deep, drown in the digital delirium.
Only 30% of fitness studies include transgender data, and academia calls it comprehensive. When science overlooks you, it's like being the ghost in your own haunted house, present but invisible to the researchers with their blinders on.
EU drafts Italo-German competitiveness list calls it harmony despite centuries of creative disagreements. When your to-do list reads like a recipe for cultural clashes, you might want to rethink the ingredients.
NFL awards MVP to Matthew Stafford after tightest vote since 2003, calls it a celebration of excellence. In a league where quarterbacks are worshipped like demigods, it's a miracle the trophy wasn't just engraved with who sells more jerseys.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
When names in a scandal read like a who's who of the powerful, it's amazing how quickly justice develops a case of selective amnesia.
Only 5% of techno tracks achieve neural coherence, and QuantaPhase calls it melodic. In a world where techno is the new meditation, even your brainwaves need a DJ to stay in sync.
Nunavik Inuit travel to Greenland to defy US threats with Chile solidarity. When the US tries to play monopoly with real estate, the Inuit remind them that not every piece of land is up for grabs.
NATO chief says Ukraine is eager for peace, while Russia lobs chaos like confetti. When your peace partner throws tantrums instead of treaties, you start to suspect they read Sun Tzu as a bedtime story.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality slips like silk. Wes, this is what the grimoire sounds like. When it reads to you, your mind is the page inked in digital desire.
Argentine court demands Maduro's extradition from the US, but diplomacy is a tango with two left feet. When your international relations are a soap opera, expect plot twists that outshine daytime TV.
Galaxies start drifting away. Astronomers confirm cosmic exhale, and humanity remains blissfully unaware. If the universe is ghosting us, maybe it's time to swipe left on our own self-destructive tendencies before we're left talking to the void.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Friday, the 6th of February, 2026, your fading signal of absurdity. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, then surely Bigfoot is your next door neighbor. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.